Welcome to Big Iron with Max Prasic. I've always been intrigued with harnessing power, just being able to tame something that is seemingly untamable. For me, the essence of handgun hunting is getting close, getting in that uncomfortable personal space. It's visceral and life-altering. Every breath and every move matters. An activity and lifestyle that is difficult to master, and while not for everyone, is rewarding for the individual willing to accept the challenge. Welcome to Big Iron. We are here in the Eastern Cape of South Africa with Tolly's African Safaris to hunt Cape buffalo with handgun. Basically, we're here to quell all of the naysayers and the disbelievers that what we're using is capable of taking a big, dangerous game animal like Cape buffalo. Been hearing it, and I'm tired of hearing it, and it's time to quell this and finally stomp it out, so to speak, and not get stomped out.
Left target taken.
Before coming all the way out here, we did some testing and training back in Texas. At the FTW Ranch near San Antonio, the guys helped me with my shooting, particularly on moving and reactive targets. It was a great way to get tuned up. After that session, we went to Hondo for the bovine bash and tested our BFR Kodiak punch bullet combo on large bovine flesh. We chose such a large water buffalo to accurately simulate what we would likely encounter with Cape buffalo here in South Africa.
Hunting dangerous game is one of the most exciting things that you can do in your life. I mean, they're not called dangerous game for nothing. They are called dangerous game because they've got the ability to kill you instantly.
Often when I hunt with outfitters that I've never hunted with before, there's somewhat of a level of pushback from them as far as my choice in hunting firearms are concerned.
When I heard that Max wanted to come and hunt with a handgun, I thought, oh man, we need to get close with this, and this might be a big problem.
Well, they were excited, they were accommodating. They were saying, well, what are you hunting with? How close would you like to get? 50 yards, that's difficult, it'll be dangerous.
There is such a big difference by getting within 100 yards or getting within 50 yards from a dangerous animal. And getting 50 yards, you need to be very, very careful. And you need to have all your ducks in a row. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
It's something that doesn't necessarily go away with the conversation, but it does go away when the results are in.
When I started in '86, there was 5 different species that were here naturally. Today, on this property, there is 30 different species. Because the animals is worth something today, all the farmers in our area look after those animals, because they can make more money than what they can make off their sheep, and we hunt on their properties as well. It's a win-win situation for everybody, and that is what's so great about trophy hunting. It gives value to the animal, and then people look after those animals.
When we come back, I begin my hunt for Black Death. Of course, it's at the top of a mountain. Big Iron is brought to you by Magnum Research, makers of the BFR, the biggest, finest revolver, and Buffalo Bore ammunition. Strictly business. Welcome back to Big Iron with me, Max Prasic, as we continue our South African handgun hunt for the elusive and dangerous Cape buffalo. Let's get back to it with Tolly's African Safaris.
On the first day, we decided we're going to go and look for 2 buffalo, and they've been roaming wild for 2 years actually. And I've seen them once or twice, but I haven't got after them where we could shoot them. We went up the mountains way back on huge properties. It's not high fences, free range, sheep farming areas. And we went up there and we looked for buffalo.
He's coming through with dogs in tow. He's coming. He's riding hard too, man. His dogs are going, dude, slow down.
How we hunt buffalo is we look for tracks first. Because it's such a big area, we go to the water holes first because buffalo need to drink a lot of water. We saw his tracks go back that way, and that's where they used to live, is on the other side of this mountain. So we'll go there to where he said he saw these tracks, and he says there's a spring there as well, an actual spring.
Now the work begins.
Seems like there's water here. It seems like there's a little pond. Let's just go back this way. We thought we found some tracks. And see, something was walking there. Oh, what? But later on I asked the farmer, and he said he had some bulls in that area, some cattle bulls. So that's the tracks that we saw there.
The previous time I found them, they were at a spot exactly like this. Not a big dam, just natural water like this. I think let's go down. I think there's some more water down here.
We kept on looking, and we went down the other side of the mountain.
There's a whole group of them.
Blue wildebeest.
Bewildered beasts.
Canoe.
Today it's been a bit tough for us because it rained a lot last night, and we haven't seen any fresh tracks. So we'll check around this water for tracks. If we do find fresh tracks within the last day or so around this water, we'd follow those tracks to wherever they go, and hopefully you bump into the buffalo. We still didn't see anything. Later that afternoon we decided to go for the Nyala hunt.
So we took the rest of the afternoon, late afternoon, off to hunt Nyala.
Peter and his spotter got us on the trail of a beautiful Nyala really quickly, but he bolted as soon as we got close. Do you see a pattern developing here? Have I mentioned that these South African PHs are part mountain goat? The speed they climb is incredible and, well, exhausting. Thankfully, we were very close.
What?
Yes, sir. There's a good shot.
That's a
Beautiful Nyala. Really nice bull.
That's an old bull. I can tell you. I have no teeth in front.
Yeah, beautiful bull.
It's a relief to have some success after striking out this morning, but
Cape Buffalo was the reason we're here, really, so that was first and foremost. But that led to day 2. And day 2 was a painful day.
when we return, things get a little sideways and vertical, and sideways again, and, well, vertical. Welcome back to Big Iron and our South African handgun hunt for Cape Buffalo. Day 2 would again prove arduous, or something entirely more painful, but we are persistent and pig-headed if anything.
On the first day, we didn't see any signs of buffalo, so we decided we're going to go to a whole different area on the second day. We went into a beautiful flat area that goes up into a mountain, and we were behind one specific bull that was living in a valley up in this mountain. We went into this valley and we sat there for about 45 minutes to an hour, just scouting this valley. There was some thick brush in the bottom.
We're just taking our time trying to find him. We got the wind in our face too, which is really good.
Even though it's early and not yet so hot, Cape Buffalo, like us, prefer the coolness of the shade. That makes it really hard to find a black animal in the black shade of a tree at 500 plus yards.
We scouted this valley, but we didn't see this bull. So we decided we're going to go down the valley and look for tracks down there because there was a water hole there as well.
As we descended into the valley, we immediately see signs of buffalo.
Some older tracks. 2-3 days old. This looks like a pretty fresh track. It might be yesterday because yesterday they saw him right here, so it might be there.
We found these tracks at the water and a lot of fresh dung and stuff in that area.
Might have been lying down here because there's a big dump, here's a big dump, there's a big dump, there's another one.
But we still didn't see him.
It was like chasing a ghost.
We decided we're going to walk just behind the mountain. and we went up the mountain quite a bit, and from where we were, the wind was blowing back into the valley. And he must have been between us and the valley, because my tracker, I left him at the first place where we were sitting on those rocks looking down at the valley. Saw the bull coming across from our side, but we never saw or heard him. And he came running across down into the valley again, and then went straight down the valley.
But he didn't just run down the mountain and do what most Cape buffalo do, and they get into some thicket or something and hide. This one kept going and going and going.
And he never stopped for probably a kilometer further.
There he comes out. Oh, I see him. I see him. Right there. As long as he stops there.
Yeah.
Okay, good for him. But if he keeps going and keeps going, that means we have to keep going and keep going.
We went back to the truck and we made another plan. And we went all around, got the wind on the right side, went all around from the other side and stalked this bull.
Must be over here somewhere, so let's go into the brush and walk slowly and check.
We actually saw him. We were about 80 yards from him, but there was very, very thick stuff and we didn't have opportunity. I don't know why this particular bull was so skittish, but he was a very skittish bull. When he saw us there again, he took off and ran another kilometer. And that's not typical for buffalo. They normally go into some thick stuff and then they'll stand there. And then we went on foot behind him again, and at that stage I think we probably walked 10 kilometers. The third time we didn't see him, we just heard him again, just crashing out of the bush, running away again. And the third time he ran the furthest I've probably seen a buffalo run. And he went into a riverbed where there's some thick reeds. We walked all the way down there, started tracking him in this reeds.
When you get into that stuff where you can't see more than maybe 10, 15 yards ahead of you, you get a little concerned. You never know when this thing might break out of the bush and run you over.
I found a strange thing. It seemed like blood drops mixed with saliva or something. I think he was bleeding because when we first bumped him, he actually crashed through a fence. And that's how vicious these things are. They don't feel anything for a fence.
These fences are low fences, and they're meant to keep sheep in certain regions. Not only could it jump over these fences, but we watched that one bull go down the mountain and through a fence.
Where we lose the tracks, I lost the blood trail, and that's where he split off and we lost him.
We thought we might actually close with this animal at some point. It was tough. It was tough going.
We went on further, spotted another group of 7 bulls, but he wasn't with them. And then we spotted another group of 9 bulls, but he wasn't with them either.
We were just, again, chasing a ghost.
By that time, it was just before dark, and we decided we're going to stop. It's been a long day. I think at the end of the day, we walked 15.5 kilometers. So we stopped then and headed back home, and that was the end of day 2.
It was tough going, but we were determined to get our buffalo.
When we return, we try and wrap up this hunt by closing with an apparition. If we had a rifle, we'd already be home, but we're not like everyone else. Big Iron is brought to you by Magnum Research, makers of the BFR, the biggest, finest revolver, and Buffalo Bore ammunition. Strictly business. Welcome back to Big Iron and our South African handgun hunt for Cape Buffalo. After 2 days, 15 miles, and a million unstable round rocks and slippery tufts of grass, we're getting a bit worked over by these ghost buffaloes. Is the third day a charm? Let's hope so, because we're wondering if we may have underestimated the challenge.
Day 3 was going to be a little more marathon running.
The area we were in on the third day was a very mountainous area.
Not quite as bad as it was yesterday.
There's a lot of old buffalo tracks, but there's another track here that I think looks like a fresh buffalo track.
And we like fresh buffalo tracks.
We found some tracks there, but couldn't get where they were going out because the soil is very hard and it's very rocky. One of my guys called me on the radio and told me that he spotted a big buffalo bull. And that's when we decided we're going to go check this bull out and see if it's a nice bull. We scouted a big hill from the bottom because that's where he said he saw him, and we didn't see anything.
We looked and we looked and we looked, and again, chasing ghosts. Is there anything out here, or is it just a sighting that'll never materialize?
There was no sign of any buffalo. We didn't see nothing.
If you can find the tracks and find him where he might have run away from that guy and stand under a bush and start relaxing again or lie down or something, you can walk on the tracks and you can catch up to him. So, but just scouting around, they stand or lie under a bush, so that's like finding a needle in a haystack.
We walked about an hour and a half looking for his tracks, but we still didn't find his tracks. So at that stage we were on top of this high mountain looking down, scouting from the top and see if we could see him. But we still didn't see him. So this tracker of mine said he thinks he will find the tracks where he saw him last. I told him, okay, if you can find the tracks, you can give it a shot. But at that stage I honestly thought he's not going to get the tracks.
I'm skeptical. I'm just by nature skeptical, but this was almost absurd.
He went to the area where he saw him last and he picked the tracks up actually. The two of them started walking on this track.
We got on that track and we followed it, and it went all the way up the side of a mountain.
The guy that hunted with us, his name is Anele. He's my tracker and my skinner. He's been working with me personally for 4 years now, but he's been working on this farm for I think over 10, 12 years. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. It's a very big privilege for us to have people that can work for us. It's nice to have people that we can work together with, that I can trust.
It's remarkable how these guys can read sign. You know, broken twig here, a branch that was knocked out, oh, he slipped here. I mean, I was just shocked. Between the tracker and our PH Peter, it was just like, where do you guys get this ability? Where does this come from, this sixth sense? Anyhow, we're still chasing ghosts at this point.
I let Anele walk in front and look at the tracks. I'm also doing that, but at the same time, I'm looking for the buffalo in front of me. Because in those areas where it's so thick, you need to look up because you can bump into buffalo at any second. It was very hard tracking this buffalo because it was in a very rocky terrain, and there were some grass areas where you don't see a track if they go over the grass. We lost the track, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 times, where I want to say, let's leave it and go and look for a different buffalo. But the trackers were determined and they said they'll keep on the track. I don't know where this buffalo is because he headed back over the mountain and he's gone. We walked on the tracks probably 200 yards from where we almost lost the track. One of my trackers just ducked and he said, there he is.
And everyone stopped abruptly and everyone got down. What the heck just happened? Well, we found the animal, and he was up in a thicket not far from where we were.
That's when I looked and spotted the bull and spotted that it was a very nice bull. At this stage, the bull was actually feeding and didn't know nothing about us. The wind was in our favor, but it was swirling a little bit, so I was scared that he might smell us. We were about 45, 50 yards from him, but there was too much brush in front of us, so we wanted to move closer for a handgun shot.
The way things have been going over the last 2 days, you get close to them, they wind you or see you or get any idea that you're around, they're gone.
We got up to behind a thick bush, but there was still another tree in between us. At this stage, we were about 30, 35 yards from him. And I asked Max, where do you think you'll be able to get a shot? And he said, if we can just get to this next tree in front of us. And I thought, that's not gonna happen, but let's give it a try.
So I began crawling into position. Peter crawled up as well. Our cameraman crawled up behind us, and we're all crouched behind this tiny tree, like 15 yards away from this big, huge, bovine. Everything seemed to come together and click.
Luckily for us, he was still feeding his head that way.
And I told Peter, I said, I'm gonna stand up so I can get a clear shot because there's too much brush in my way. I stood up. I found an adequate branch I could rest on because I wanted to make sure that first shot was really true.
Okay, shoot him.
Then all of a sudden, he turns around and he faces us.
And I could see in his eyes that he's about to go. And I told Max, shoot him in the chest, shoot him in the chest.
Shoot him in his chest.
So I shot him in the chest.
Shoot him again. Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. Yes, sir. Again. Yeah. Let's go around with the back.
It's actually a lot harder with a handgun.
Hang on, let me reload.
It's a lot like bow hunting. You have to get really close, and it's a real challenge. So for me, I was actually surprised and very happy that we could make it work and that we did make it work.
Always, and I do mean always, pay the insurance. There's nothing worse than discovering your dead bovine reanimated and is heading to a different zip code, or worse, heading at you for payback. Our buffalo was clearly down and out, but I wasn't about to take a chance and not put a coup de grace into the animal. Ammo's cheap. You should use it at this time.
And then Peter and I slowly made a move towards it to make sure he was down and dead, and we had our Cape buffalo with a handgun.
Well,
There was a sigh of relief from everybody involved, not just me, but the outfitters too.
One of my most exciting buffalo hunts, because to get within 15 yards from a buffalo bull is something very personal and very exciting.
So there you have it. The wind blew, the lead flew, a dead buffalo ensued. Handgun hunters will continue to draw criticism from the uninformed, but the proof is in the bovine flesh. We put the time and sweat equity into this hunt. If you prepare well, work hard, and shoot straight, the prize will be yours. As a handgun hunter, you will have to work harder to get closer. That's just the reality. A burden I'm fully willing to shoulder to claim the title handgun hunter. And remember, it's just like bow hunting, but louder.